2023 has come to an end and we jump into 2024 with already the Danish Queen saying farewell to the throne and abdicating, and I'm sure much more craziness is going to happen, and we're only at the very beginning of it all. But there is something to look forward to at least, and that is game releases. So we are going to jump into this video looking at January 2024 game releases. The first game on this list is War Hospital, coming out on January 11th for PC, Series S and X, and the PS5. And this is a British World War I field hospital simulation game, and also management game. So it's a 3D isometric RTS where you'll lead the medical corps instead of the soldiers, which is kind of a different take on most war games. You're obviously leading soldiers, you're playing as a soldier and things like that. So it's a very different kind of approach to it, and it sounds a really interesting concept, and I'd be looking for, it's kind of in my wheelhouse of games that I enjoy, so I'm looking forward to seeing this when it comes out and seeing how good it is. The next game on the list is Sovereign Syndicate, and that's coming out on January 15th on PC. And this is a Victorian steampunk RPG, and the big difference I can see here is that instead of using dice like you would in an RPG like, let's say, a very popular one, Baldur's Gate, you'll be using tarot cards to decide the outcome of situations. So it looks kind of an interesting take on something which has been done quite a lot recently. And another thing that kind of is an interesting aspect to it is the 3 characters that you can play as. They all have their own stories, and you'll be playing through them, which give you the option to use different gameplay mechanics, different styles of play. So it looks like an interesting take on something which we've seen quite a lot of recently, but seen it done well, and people obviously really enjoy. So it'll be interesting to see how this game is received and how good it is. The next game on the list is Time Survivors, which comes out on January 15th for PC as well. And this one looks very similar to a game which was very popular last year, Vampire Survivor or Survivors. And this one, the difference is it touts itself as the most historically inaccurate roguelike ever made. So you play as characters like Lincoln, Tesla, Cleopatra, and other historic people with unique abilities. From what you can see as the screenshots, you've got Tesla electrocuting zombies. So it looks like it might be a bit mad, but it also looks like it might be a fun time. So we'll have to see how that is received as well, and if it's worth picking up on January 15th. The next game coming out is Bulletstorm VR, coming out on January 18th for PC, PS5, and Quest. Now, this is a VR game, so obviously PC, PS5, and Quest all have the caveat that you have to have the appropriate VR headset to play it. But Bulletstorm was a game that came out years ago. I believe it was 2011 that the original came out. And they've done a remake, shall we say, of a VR version of that game. It was supposed to come out in December of last year, but there was a delay, so it's now coming out on January 18th. It will be interesting to see how well this is made into a VR game, but it looks like it's going to be a lot of crazy run and gun sort of VR game, and if it's done well, it could be a really good time. So we'll just have to wait and see. Then next coming up is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, coming out again on January 18th, but this time on PC, PS5, PS4, Switch, Xbox Series X and S. So everything you can think of. This is the next game in the Prince of Persia sort of like franchise. It's a 2.5D side-scrolling platformer, and it looks really beautiful. I love the art style. Sounds quite fun because the character has the ability to warp time and space, apparently, whatever that means. But you can use those abilities in platforming and in combat. And from the screenshots that we've seen already in the gameplay videos, you can see that there's big monsters that you have to fight, and it's going to be a very interesting game that's coming out. I haven't myself played a lot of Prince of Persia, but I know there's quite a loyal fan base out there, so it'll be very interesting to see how this one pans out as well. So looking forward to that coming out on January 18th. Next game on the list is another code, Recollection. So this game series came out on Nintendo DS and Wii, and this is a remake onto Switch. This is a remake because they've overhauled the visuals and given it full 3D explorable environments, newly added voice acting, puzzles, music, and more. So it's going to be kind of fans of that game get the game in a much more beautiful and approachable way, and people who have never played it also get to join this game at a point where it's going to be at its best, hopefully. So basically you get to solve riddles, gather clues, investigate when you're looking for the true fate of your parents as the character Ashley Mizuki Robbins. But that it's split out into two stories, so it gives you two different stories that you're running along with, and then they will eventually merge in and it'll all make sense. So again, another interesting one, and we'll be looking forward to seeing how that pans out January 19th. The next game on the list is arguably one of the most famous, I would say, games that is coming out in this month, and that is Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. A lot of question marks over if this is really needed, where I believe the original game came out 4 years ago. It was in 2020, so less than 4 years ago, because we're just at the beginning of 2024. But it's not a fully just remake. It does come with some new features. For instance, a game mode called No Return, which is a roguelike survival mode, which puts new and old characters in limited time missions, urging them to fight hordes of infected. You also got a speedrun mode, and you also are able to play the instruments like the guitar in a free play mode, so you can actually play songs like in a more kind of giving you more freedom around that, apparently. And also there's some free additional missions which were cut out of the original game that have been made available for you to play through in the remaster. So there are reasons to get this if you've already played the part 2. Obviously there's going to be a graphics update because it's on the PS5 rather than the PS4. So we'll have to see how the remaster comes across on January 19th when it comes out. And I for one loved the first one and haven't actually played the second one, so this for me is probably good timing because I'll pick up the remastered version rather than the older version. So yeah, let us know in the comments if you think is 4 years long enough for a remaster or not. The next game coming out is Retrowave World, and that's coming out on January 19th on PC. And this is a very interesting one. It seems like it's quite a chill game, like a game that you're supposed to go onto and just kind of play to have a bit of a chill out. From what I can see, you can drive. It's very based on like the 80s, where you're driving around a car on this kind of like very sunset beach sort of area. But you have it's very based on a nostalgia sort of kick. So we have a lot of synth wave music, which you're going to be listening to while driving around in your fancy sports car. And there's also shops that you can go to, like VHS shops and that, which are very heavily on the nostalgia. And they put in their own description for this game that it's pure nostalgia. So it's going to be an interesting one. It might be worth picking up if you enjoy that kind of aesthetic, like that very kind of 80s synth wave kind of aesthetic is very much what they're going for. So I don't think it's for everyone, but it might be a very interesting game, and it looks quite relaxing. So it might be a nice one just to turn on at the end of the day and just have a little drive around. So that's coming out January 19th. And the game after that is Roots of Yggdrasil. Well, I can never say that word. Yggdrasil. I think I'm saying that correctly. Apologies if not. Coming out on January 24th on the PC. And this is an interesting looking management game, city builder. So it actually describes itself as post-Ragnarok roguelike city builder. So there you go. Build settlements, explore the 9 realms, collect artifacts, and upgrade your building's deck to reach the top of Yggdrasil in this post-Ragnarok roguelike city builder. So there's card deck building involved. There's city building management involved as well. There's artifact collecting. It looks like they're putting a lot of concepts into this, like game concepts. Hopefully not too many to make it a bit of a confusing game. But we'll have to wait and see. I really love the art style, and I do love a city builder. So this is one that's on my list to check out eventually. Next up, for all you lore fans, Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy. So the original trilogy of Ace Attorney, I've definitely played and was a great set of games where you are a lawyer or attorney, should I say, who is putting himself in the thick of it, trying to get the wins in those cases. But this is the follow-on, like passing of the torch to Apollo Justice, who is the next attorney in this story. I've never played any of these ones, but this is the trilogy of them, and it's also coming out for Switch, PC, Xbox One, and PS4. So not the new gen consoles, but the older gen consoles are getting this. And it will be an interesting one to see how well it does if they're not doing next gen releases. But I know that it will be mainly picked up on Switch, so it'll be an interesting one to see. Might be one that I pick up because I've never played the Apollo Justice games myself. Next up is Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and this is such a strange one from the looks of all like the marketing of it so far. So it's coming out on January 26th for PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series S and X, and Xbox One. And it's in the Like a Dragon franchise, which was also known as the Yakuza franchise before it was renamed. But this one is all, instead of being based in Tokyo, it's all based in Hawaii, from what I can tell. And the kind of big selling point of this one is its side games, from what I can tell as well, where you've got a Crazy Taxi kind of side game where you're picking people up, you're dropping them off and that, and time limits, and you're getting money from all that. But you also have like an Animal Crossing side game, like mini game, should I say. So lots in this. Lots of fans of the series will be checking this out, I'm sure, and it might even pick up a few people who haven't been into the Like a Dragon series, who are looking at this as a kind of, I loved Animal Crossing, this is a bit different, and it might also kind of scratch that itch. So yeah, that's coming out on January 26th. And the last game on my list coming out in January is Tekken 8, and I would arguably say this is the biggest release of the month, depending on if you think the remaster of Last of Us Part 2 is the biggest one. I'm not sure. So we've got Tekken 8 coming out January 26th on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. I mean, we all know Tekken. It's a franchise that's been around for years and years. So this game is obviously going to be on the top of a lot of people's lists who are looking forward to it. From what I've looked at it, it's got a feature in it that's called Heat Mechanic, so it rewards a lot more aggressive gameplay, so it might change up how people play compared to previous Tekkens. And also the story itself, compared to 7's, is a lot longer, so it's going to at least be a little bit more value for money when you're thinking about length of gameplay and that. And it's obviously got the arcade mode and all of that good stuff as well. So that's coming out on 26th of January, and I'm sure all the fighting game fans will be queuing up for that in no time. And that is it for all the games coming out in January. I'm sure I missed some, so let me know in the comments below if there's any games which I did miss. And also, if you're looking forward to any of the games I mentioned and what you think about them. So yeah, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you when I see you.